श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्. Voice of God, Volume 1. How to clear the impurity. If we look around with real knowledge, we will perceive everything as bliss only. Bliss is infinite. True perception would make us see everything as bliss only. Bliss is not bound by limits. There is no place where it does not pervade. Knowledge is also limitless. There is no place where it does not pervade. There cannot be two things which are limitless and which pervade everywhere. Therefore, bliss and knowledge are one. The Upanishads declare that bliss is Brahman. Bliss, knowledge, Brahman, Atma, soul are all one. Since there is no place where it does not pervade, Jiva, soul, is characterized by knowledge as bliss. We look at things with our eyes alone. We call one flower a rose and another flower is that of Dhatura. If we look at them with jnana, the rose and the Dhatura will appear as bliss only. It is due to lack of jnana that we perceive one as rose and the other as Dhatura. In fact, everything is bliss only. The reason why we are unable to perceive the truth is that our mind is contaminated by impurities. If a mirror keeps shaking, the figure reflected therein will be distorted. If, along with movement, the mirror is also covered by dirt, the reflected figure will be totally distorted and the real figure will not be seen. It is because the mirror of mind is in a disturbed state and is covered with impurity that it does not reflect the true nature of things, which is bliss. If a staff is handed over to a mentally deranged person and he is asked to hold it for 15 minutes, he cannot do it. But it is possible for us to hold it for 15 minutes. We can hold a solid thing. But if we are asked to mentally concentrate on one thing only, we are unable to do it. In a moment, 1,000 thoughts cross the mind in the manner of a motion picture. Therefore, the wise who have gained real knowledge would think of us in the same way as we think of a mentally deranged person. Till the mind is controlled, all of us are different types of mad people only. The reason for this is that the mind is not only unsteady like a moving mirror covered by dirt, but is also not able to concentrate on one thing. If the impurities goes out of the mind, concentration will materialize and the truth will become clear. How is the impurity to be removed? Our impurity is our own body. How has this body come into existence? It is because of sin. How did we commit that sin? We committed it by using the various limbs of our body and the mind. If a rope is wound over something and it has to be removed, it will have to be unwound in the opposite direction. In the same manner, bad deeds should be wiped out by good deeds and sins by virtuous acts. The sins committed by the limbs of the body and the mind should be wiped out through the same parts and the mind. Charity, philanthropy, observance of religious rituals, reciting the Lord's names, temple worship, etc., are good deeds. These are the aids for wiping out the sins. Having thus wiped out the sins, we should follow the path of true knowledge and attain the blissful state. The little part and the transcendental. The sun is only one, but if a little water is sprinkled on a smooth surface, a sun is seen in every drop of water. Although they look like different entities, it would not mean that there are several suns. Sun is only one. Similarly, the little sparks of intelligence that shine in all beings are the reflections of the only Brahman. This is what Sri Adi Shankaracharya has said in his Brahma Sutra Bhashyam commentary on the Brahma Sutra. This transcendental energy, the intelligence, which is the basis for everything, shows itself as little parts within us. The transcendental energy intelligence is what the Vedanta refers to as Tat. Tat means what is far away and above everything. Although in our present state it appears to be far away, actually what is far away and what is near are all the same Tat. The Vedas declare that is you yourself, Tat Tattvam. As I say this, for a moment it would appear that everything is clear. If we always remain in that state in which we are at this moment, we will be free from sorrow. But the very next moment, the true perception disappears. We become subject to sufferings because of all kinds of false perceptions. Whatever is obtained through false perception will be illusory. To enjoy bliss all the time, we have to hold on to the one who always remains real. The one who is always real is only the Lord. We, the ordinary ones, have to hold on to that Lord. We are all small bits. When the small bits merge in the transcendental, they become transcendental too, and that is eternal bliss. The only reality is the one who is transcendental. What is part is mere thought. Thought, dream, etc. are not permanent truths. If we meditate on that transcendental Paramatma, thinking of Him as so many parts with forms and qualities, and in the end, if we meditate on the Nirguna Brahman, Brahman without qualities, there will be no conflict, no fear or sorrow. There will only be absolute peace. This is the fruit which Shankara Bhagavad Pada has taken from the Upanishad tree and given us. The state of ripeness can be reached only after going through the stages of the bud, the flower, the tender sprouts, and the raw fruit. One has to be patient till the state of ripeness is reached. There is no use being in hurry when it is still raw and it would only get spoiled instead of ripening. Saint Ramalinga, referring to the body, expresses the fear of its getting spoiled instead of ripening. We should also have such fear. Till the ripened stage is reached, puja, meditation, penance, etc. are necessary. These are necessary till we reach the state of ultimate truth declared by Vedanta. Only then can the stage of ripening be reached without deterioration. In the end, what is that ultimate truth, the basis? It is within oneself. It can be experienced that the ultimate truth lies within the same intelligence which goes in its search. Mahaperiva Charanam.